If you've spent the last decade building a resume that screams experienced leader, I want to ask you something honestly. Why does it feel like the market is suddenly screaming back no thanks? Look, I know you're tired. I know you're probably sitting there, looking at your laptop, wondering if you've somehow forgotten how to do your job. You haven't, but something has shifted under our feet, and it's happened faster than most people realize. If you've been sending out dozens, maybe even hundreds of applications and hearing nothing but silence, I want you to stop for a second, because the problem isn't your resume, it isn't your talent, and it definitely isn't your worth as a professional. The reality is that we've entered what I call the 2026 dead zone. It's a place where traditional experience, the kind we were told would protect us forever, has suddenly become a liability. Let's look at the numbers for a moment, because they tell a story that your LinkedIn feed won't. The average job search right now has stretched out to 5.5 months. Think about that. Nearly half a year of uncertainty. And for more than a third of people, it's taking longer than 6 months to land anything. When I first saw this data, it honestly changed how I think about the whole thing. It's not just a slow market, it's a systemic filter. Today, 95% of initial resume screenings are handled by AI, not a human recruiter looking for potential, but a machine looking for a very specific type of utility. If you're still trying to use keyword stuffing or relying on the prestige of your previous titles to get you through the door, you're playing a game that's already ended. Let that number sit for a second. 95%.
Yep.
If the old rules of time served aren't working anymore, what's the invisible logic that's actually filtering you out? So let's talk about what's actually going on behind the scenes. There's a term floating around executive boardrooms right now that you need to know. It's called unbossing. For decades, the corporate world was built on layers. You had the doers, and then you had the people who managed the doers, and then the people who managed the managers. That middle layer, that's what I call the human middleware. And in 2026, that middleware is being dissolved. 41% of global companies have already started aggressively reducing their management layers. They aren't just downsizing. They're flattening the entire structure. Here's the hard truth. Your 10 years of experience isn't a badge of honor anymore. If it's tied to manual processes, it's actually a 10-year-old anchor. When I talk to executives, they're telling me the same thing. 78% of them believe that AI adoption is going to drastically reduce the headcount of middle management. And it's not because they want to replace people with robots just to save a buck. It's because the work itself has changed. Right now, 43% of standard management tasks, the stuff we used to spend all day on, like scheduling, reporting, and monitoring, are fully automated. If your value proposition is that you oversee people or manage processes, you're competing with a piece of software that costs $20 a month and never sleeps. This is the great flattening. The reason you're getting ghosted isn't that you're overqualified. It's that the role you're applying for, the traditional manager role, is being phased out of the corporate blueprint entirely. Here's where it gets really interesting. The market isn't shrinking, it's polarizing. It's moving away from the manager and toward the architect. So if the middle is collapsing, who are the people actually thriving in this dead zone? I want to introduce you to the unbossed. These are the professionals who realized maybe a year or two ago that the best way to keep their job was to automate the parts of it they used to think made them indispensable. I remember talking to a former MBA consultant. Brilliant guy, 15 years in the game. He was getting zero traction in the traditional job market. He felt like he was becoming obsolete. But instead of trying to find another manager role, he pivoted. He rebranded himself as a fractional GTM engineer. He stopped saying, "I manage sales teams," and started saying, "I build automated go-to-market infrastructure." He used tools like N8N and LangChain to automate the lead flow that used to require 3 junior analysts. Now, his effective hourly rate has jumped by 140%. He's working for 3 different clients simultaneously, and he's doing less manual work than ever before. Then there's an HR manager I worked with. Her department was being gutted. Instead of panicking, she spent 6 weeks learning how to build custom AI agents. She automated the entire first-round interview and onboarding workflow for her company. When the layoffs finally hit the management layer, she wasn't just spared. She was promoted to head of people systems with a $45,000 salary bump. Why? Because she stopped managing people's time and started managing the infrastructure that saves the company's time. These aren't just lucky breaks. They're the result of a fundamental shift in how we view the work itself. The fractional leadership market has doubled in size recently, reaching over 120,000 professionals. People are moving away from the 9-to-5 hierarchy and toward high-impact intervention. They are becoming architects of systems rather than supervisors of people. Now, this is the part that changes everything. How does AI turn what you thought was a liability into an unfair advantage? There's a new currency in the 2026 job market: It's called Agentic competency. Recruiters don't want to hear about who you were in 2020. They don't care about the size of the team you led 4 years ago. They want to know what automated system you can build for them tomorrow. When you look at the job data, AI-augmented roles are now commanding a 56% wage premium globally. That's up from 25% just a year ago. The gap is widening, and it's widening fast. But here's what most people get wrong. You don't need to be a coder to have agentic competency. You need to be a director. You need to be the person who can look at a messy manual business process and say, I can build an AI-driven department to handle this. Think about the power shift here. In the old world, a manager's power came from how many reports they had. In the new world, your power comes from how much output you can generate with a lean, automated stack. Recruiters are now using AI for 99% of the hiring process. If your resume talks about soft skills and leadership in a vacuum, the AI sees zero utility. But if your resume shows that you can reduce operational friction by 60% using agentic workflows, you become the most valuable person in the room. By 2026, 1 in 5 organizations will have used AI to eliminate more than half of their middle management roles. That sounds terrifying, I know. But for the people who understand this shift, it's the greatest opportunity of their lives, because once you stop being the megarer, you become the architect. And the architect is the one who gets paid the premium. If you're ready to stop being the megarer and start being the architect, where do you actually start tomorrow morning? I don't want you to leave this conversation feeling motivated but lost. I want you to have a plan. So here's your blueprint for this week. 3 steps. First, we need to fix your headline. If your LinkedIn says Senior Project Manager or Experienced Operations Leader, you're invisible. Change it to focus on systems and outcomes. Use phrases like Workflow Architect or AI-Augmented Operations. You need to signal to the machines and the humans that you are an architect of the future, not a relic of the past. Second, I want you to build a fractional profile. Even if you want a full-time job, the market is moving toward fractional work. Look at platforms like TopTal or specialized fractional networks. Start framing your experience as a series of high-impact interventions rather than a chronological list of responsibilities. Third, and this is the big one, you need to master one low-code automation tool this weekend. Pick one, N8N, Zapier, or even just building custom GPTs for specific business workflows. Don't just read about them, build something. Take a process you used to do manually and automate it. You aren't losing your career to a machine, you're losing it to a version of yourself that refuses to use one. I've seen this play out 100 times. The people who cling to the old way get left in the dead zone, but the people who take their years of deep experience and wrap it in modern, agentic tools, they are becoming the most sought-after professionals in the world. This isn't easy. I know it feels like the goalposts keep moving, but you have the experience, you have the wisdom, you just need to change the delivery system. The dead zone is behind you. Now, let's go build the systems that the future is waiting for. I'll see you in the next one.